I saw a post on social media, Facebook to be specific. They say that the awards, the Fivefold Ministries Award, have scheduled a date for this year. I think it's in November or something like that. And it has a price tag on it and whatnot and all that. That's not what I want to talk about. Everybody does what they do. Whether you do a church event that has a price tag, that's up to whatever builds your ministry. Maybe you need to fundraise or whatever, right? That's not the subject matter. When it came up last time, I was like, hey, this thing, let's be careful. Now, I want to add to that particular conversation that I brought last time with a certain tone around this one. So they said it's around November-ish or something like that. You see, it's all good and well to applaud ministers. The Bible even says it, give honor to whom honor is due. And then it also brings up the subject matter of honor the people that are your teachers, because make the labor easier for them, right? That's what the Bible says. Some of you will not be nice to it. You come here, you learn, but you'll not even be nice. The Bible says be nice. Come down, be coming down. Make it easier. Make it a joy saving. Okay? So basically, that's what it's saying. That it's fine. You can keep cussing me out. I've gotten used to it. Our relationship has been that. It's fine. It's fine. So, I understand the idea of honoring ministers who are in service, because the Bible says they watch over you spiritually, right? That's what the Bible says. It literally says that. Okay? And later on, Paul will speak to Timothy and will say, watch over your doctrine, because it will save both you and those that hear you. So we know the importance of our leaders and the importance of... If you look at the online space pertaining Nigerian church, there is a debate pertaining salvation. Can you lose salvation? Works, where do the works come in? What? All of that. And you will notice it's not one church. It's that debate that's happening in Nigeria. It's current. It's happening right now. And I've said, this is what grows believers. So the subject matter of what's happening in Nigeria, that's what a healthy church looks like. A healthy church community, not a church branch. A healthy church community, that's what it looks like. Everybody cares about doctrine to a point of putting forward their scriptural references and saying this is what. That's what a healthy church looks like. Maturity happens in that environment. You see Joel Okepe doing his contribution on salvation last week. You see Reverend Christiana make his contribution, right? We might not agree, but he makes his contribution. You go Arumi Osai, make his contribution. Abel Damina, make his contribution. There is a lot of preachers on the pulpit on some of the biggest platforms in Nigeria making contribution on the subject of salvation in the past 3 weeks. I'm not talking about 10 years. No, in the past 3 weeks. South Africa, where do you see it? In South Africa, where do you see it? You don't see it anywhere. Our pastors completely ignore these subject matters. Now, it's been something that's been happening now, with the newer churches. And that's what we encourage. The newer generation should not just copy what was done by old pastors. Completely not engaging with the church as a global thingy. You're not just teaching the local church, you are teaching at a global scale. I've been talking about losing salvation and not losing salvation on multiple videos. But you go look at the video where Pastor Kabelo Mabalani commented about salvation. Joel commented on salvation. Abel Damina commented on salvation. Pastor Michael Okonko commented on salvation. These are pastors on the pulpit doing this commentary. Look at the comments. It's not, and yes, it shouldn't be like that, when I would say something, even if I present a Bible verse, people might not listen, right? It shouldn't be like that. But it tells you something. There is an authority that is associated with you on the pulpit. I'm just a guy on the social media. Okay? That's important. That's an important lesson to take. When you see something like that, that should tell you something. Okay? So, I don't mind it because I'm a guy on the social media. I'm not their pastor, right? But when they see you as a pastor, a figure who is pastoring people, because remember, the role of a pastor is a very different one to me who's a social media guy. They recognize your voices. There's a lot of people that might not even know these particular awards and when that they're not that popular, right? But they are new. I think it's their second year or something like that, and it looks like they want to make it a yearly thing, giving these awards. Now, let's be very clear. Yes, the Bible does say honor your pastors. To be giving awards, I think it's a little bit too far. Like it's like a little bit, right? But I'm not completely against it. But I think for me, we should seek to swing the sword, and we are not swinging the sword. People are being careful. They are tiptoeing around. They're tiptoeing topics. They're tiptoeing subject matters. Everybody doesn't want to cut the concepts about and whatnot and all of that stuff. I encourage what you saw from Apostle, what's his name? I forgot. Apostle Tumisan. When people were cursing the country, I think I even saw a video similar from Reverend Ralkhole. Because people have been speaking evil over us. Over and over. I think, I'm not sure. I didn't watch the video yet. If I did see it, if the video is that, I will make a video about it. But I did note the video and I wrote it down. And I've said this again. When you see topics on the social media, you correct it locally, put it out in the public. Yes, you are a local body. You're a local church. You are here. But you have a responsibility to the bigger part of it. There are people that the people that taught me salvation were not pastors from locally. I learned salvation on people online. I learned it from pastors overseas. I learned it from pastors in Australia, pastors in the US. I learned it in forums. The South African church is not there. It's not there because everybody is trying, to tiptoe, and everybody is pushing this agenda, an idea of generals and whatnot. When people err, they'll just leave it. There's errors all over. You will barely see our pastors engaging those subject matters. Okay? Now, I want to be very recognizing. I want to recognize the fact that, yes, you have what you're doing in your local church, and that is that, right? But you have to count, you have to remember you're a member of the bigger part of the body. This is why I'm using the Nigerian church as a reference point. That's what a healthy church looks like. Now, the second part of this conversation, okay? Now, I hope you heard my heart about that. Don't be taking offenses. Not that deep. Now, on the second part of the subject, we do not want to, this is where I would caution about it. I'm not against it, okay? Be very clear. This is where I would caution it. We must remember that this idea of award, an award can bring a pleasure that you do not want to keep like dangling in front. So now if you're giving an award for a minister's service, it stays there. This is all past tense. Now remember the ministry, the work of God's ministry. It's about future. It's about what you are doing today and what you are doing tomorrow. We want to keep that in mind. Yes, y'all can do that and all that, but do not let this become the center. Okay? Don't let this become the center to a place where, there's this year we're doing these awards. Because remember, the work of our service right now is rewarded before God. And that can fade if we hound in on awarding ourselves here. So that's the caution that I would bring out. The work of ministry we do. Remember, 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. He's very clear that each and every single person's work will be brought forward. Whether he did what he did, whether it be good or bad. He says the foundation is laid. Each man as a husband, each man is God's full building, but each man must account to what his labor. So you don't want this to be center. That's just what I thought. That's just what I thought when I was seeing this. I was like, hey, you know what? Let me put out this video with this caution. Yes, you have this. You want to honor ministers in the gospel and all that. Right now, it's very KZN based. And maybe they will expand it out or whatnot or all of that. But you do not want this to be center. I'm telling you. Why? Because you have to remember our service. You see, you did service today. You're doing tomorrow. You're doing next day. So the past service that I did, I'm not thinking about that. I need to think about what am I doing tomorrow. I need to think about what I'm doing tomorrow. To have a direct award. It's, ministry is not like, you have to really think about this thing. Ministry is not like gospel music. Gospel music has its peak because you are helping people in their worship of God by seasons and seasons and seasons. But ministry is very different. Ministry, it's a lifetime thing. So that's the caution that I would put on it. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. I think it just helps better to think. I'm not completely against it or anything like that, okay? I just think I see the idea. Already the church had gone so far with this thing of honoring the pastor. Yeah, there was a lot. They still do it in a lot of churches, and it's destructive as it is. I mean, yeah, we don't even need to talk about that. I mean, pastors' appreciation services are ridiculous. They're really ridiculous. They'll be buying pastor cars and what every single year. No. Those things. No. Yeah. People had already gone too far with that. Now this, and pastors' appreciation is what brought out the papa's ministry whole thing. Sowing a seed to the pastor, all of that. It came from pastors' appreciation and all that. So you have to let's remember the big goal here. Our service and reward is before God. Yes, honor those that are with you. He says because they labor for you and what. Yeah, there's that. But let us be very careful. Very careful. This one, that is an award. It's a direct award. Like you hold it, you're going to put it on the shelf. Ministry is about saving. It's continuous service. There's a verse in the book of Luke, I can't remember what chapter it is, when he speaks about a servant. He says a servant should think of his work as he did a service. This is how you ought to think of it, as one that does it as service. And he's trying to put forward this mindset of continuously being there. This one, I did this, now I'm rewarded. I don't know about that. Yeah, tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. I'll hear from you. It's Ricky. Other episodes down today will be down in the pinned comments. Have a blessed day.